Welcome, traveler! What a pleasant surprise. Oh, well, the weather does not look too friendly outside. Please, please come in and warm yourself by the fire. Back in the day, when I was less self aware, I would be very hard on myself for failures. Whether it was associated with work, hobbies, or relationships, I would uh, I would generate a lot of anger at myself. Of course, now I know this attitude it's defeatist and self-destructive. It did take more time than it should since I had to do so much without a guide, but I managed to reprogram my brain. Now I look at failure and success in a new light. With that in mind, I began a tradition that I call True Confessions. At work, I will actually drop a dime on myself. Yes, I will endure a moment of embarrassment to share with you a situation that I had, what caused the failure, and most importantly, what I extracted from that so I could drop the guilt and continue to march. So, in the spirit of True Confessions, I reveal a secret. I do not like to be alone. In my convoluted and varied experiences that have happened during my mortal existence, I grew up alone, and I learned that my non standard behavior would get on people's nerves. I mean, even now, as an old man, I will still do that because being neither average or conventional, sometimes people don't know how to take me. So, earlier this year, I had a health crisis, and I very much wanted to see a 20 something fellow who was oh, we'll say a party friend. For some reason, he said he was too tired to come and see me. And I lost my temper. I told him, oops, excuse me. I told him that if I have no value as a friend, you could just stay away. Now, I will admit sometimes I don't want to be by myself, but it's a balancing act. Oftentimes, when I'm really engrossed in a project, I will ignore everything and everyone around me. That seemed to be too much for some people, too, especially my ex wife. Now, here in the twilight of my life, it does not bother me to be alone. I have a long range vision, and it's still just a probability. But why not pursue it? So, with a long range goal in mind, I really do not need secondary distractions. Speaking of goals, do you have a goal in mind for the end of this week? How about this month? The end of this year? even though that's almost here. One of the things that I feel is necessary for you to achieve a life of fulfillment is to have a long range goal. More than one, actually. It makes a great difference in your life if you are being proactive rather than reactive. With a focused vision locked forward, one can plan purchases and organize your finances so that your success will be enhanced. More than once, I have bought things that I knew I did not have a use for. They were just, they were there, and something in the back of my mind said to buy them. Packed away. Months later, I find them, and hey, these will work great with this project. And we all have obstacles show up in our path. It may be that you purchased something some time ago that's just been collecting dust, but now it has value. As for me, I feel that there is one major obstacle that remains in my path. It's one that is very difficult to evade. It's a biological urge. How can a man live without a woman in his life? The urge to reproduce is a deep-seated one. Now, this this urge has been short-circuited by some people. Monks, scholars, ascetics, inventors, people who had such drive and vision that they did not have time for a woman in their life. And I admit, I'm still uh, at a point where I look at women, but I've reprogrammed my brain a little bit. Now, when I look at a woman, it isn't as a potential sex partner. I'm actually looking and trying to evaluate her health to see if she could physically handle being a mother. Lust doesn't even enter into it. As I speak, I am balanced on the edge of a razor blade. If the combination of a pretty woman and willingness to marry presents itself, the lost man child within me would happily overdose on blue pills and return to NPC oblivion. The recent MGTOW convert in me would seriously consider going purple pill and trying again to form a long-term relationship. Alas, this is not possible. Although one can rage and yell against the tsunami, it will not stop. What is seen cannot be unseen. Once the red pill has been ingested, a bitter aftertaste will always remain. You know, the Matrix is such a great movie to get examples from. You know, as the man said, the red pill of truth versus the blue pill of lies. And I would imagine that every man who has taken the MGTOW path has said the same thing Cypher did in the movie. He says, why didn't I take the blue pill? No, my friend. You cannot turn back from this path without grave risk to bodily integrity, mental stability, and spiritual fulfillment. I would consider someone who has begun taking a steady diet of red pills. I would compare him to the Marvel Comics character, the Beyonder, from the first Secret Wars way back in the day. According to his origin story, he was the universe where he was. There was nothing else in it but him, and he existed for who knows how long in blissful ignorance. When a portal opened and he could see into elsewhere when and see that other realities existed, his path was altered forever. So is yours. Still balanced on the edge of that razor blade, I am preparing to leap into the direction of solitude. I have decided that the social experiment is over. Although there are 3 women that I know that they have proven themselves to be at least work capable. So I'm willing to give them respect based on that. But my mere offer of a dinner invitation has been met with sullen silence. Now, a blue-pilled man would probably rage or keep texting or calling saying, "What's going on?" But the red pill man knows better. A red pill man knows that he is the prize and that he should not be doing something so unfulfilling as chasing a woman. It is undignified and shows a glaring weakness in character. I am a great believer in the value of music. You know how a certain song will come on and everyone has to jump up and dance? You know, I remember songs like that from back in the day. Or maybe if you're still happily married or still married period, you remember a special song that was played at your wedding that brings back feelings of happiness or regret. A while back, I had a difficulty with my former friend with benefits. And she broke off with me. I took it pretty hard. I started crying. I went to my laptop, which has about 3,000 songs on it, and played one that would induce an emotional response. And I cried and looked through the music again, and I picked the next song. I picked out about 6. for my little breakup playlist. And I'm not embarrassed to say I cried for the lost opportunities that were no longer present. But in time, as I played that playlist over and over, the pain lessened, and eventually it reached the point where I could play it and felt no reaction at all. I have to admit that at times the loneliness does overwhelm me. And I have a song that I like to play. It is Stardust, played by Harry James and his orchestra, with vocals by a young Frank Sinatra. And I get melancholy and I cry a little. When the song's over, I recover and I continue to march. Do not feel ashamed of feeling emotion. You're a human. Now, you do not have to be as extreme as me. Me, I admit I'm sort of an all or nothing kind of guy. It not on purpose, it just sort of turned out that way. So, believe me, doing this is painful and it's going to be rough. But the occasional low level pain that I feel from being lonely is nothing compared to the almost guaranteed pain that would happen if I married again. Consider the statistics. First marriage, divorce rate, 50%. Second marriage, divorce rate, 70%. Third marriage, divorce rate, 90%. As someone said in a comment section a while back, you'd do better to play Russian roulette with an automatic. So, I am here, alone in the wilderness. And it's it's hard to take sometimes, but that bitter red pill aftertaste reminds me that there is no going back. Even if you did your best to erase all this new knowledge you had and to get into another relationship, there are no guarantees. In fact, well, actually, there is a guarantee. Female nature is unchanged. And although you may not want to admit it to yourself, an average man is incapable of filling the bottomless pit of a woman's desire. So, I decided I need to get my act together, get focused, and do what is necessary. So I don't cause a copyright infringement, I shall share with you the lyrics to Stardust. And now the purple dust of twilight time steals across the meadows of my heart. High up in the sky, the little stars climb, reminding me that we're apart. You wander down the lane and far away, leaving me a song that will not die. Love is now the stardust of yesterday, the music of the years gone by. Sometimes I wonder why I spend the lonely nights dreaming of a song. The melody haunts my reverie, and I am once again with you. When our love was new, and each kiss an inspiration. But that was long ago. Now my consolation is in the stardust of a song. Beside a garden wall, when stars are bright, you are in my arms. The nightingale tells his fairy tale of paradise where roses bloom. Though I dream in vain, in my heart it will remain. My stardust melody, the memory of love's refrain. Brethren, I do not say this to brag or to show off a superior source of strength. No. I am old, weak, and tired. The only thing that keeps me going is absolute persistence. It will be difficult, but I will survive. Because I do not need the validation of a female to live my life. So, fellow traveler, I appreciate you stopping by to let me rant and scream into the air at you. Sometimes it is exhilarating, liberating, and cathartic. I know that the human psyche is a complex thing, and going your own way means you are relying more on yourself than anyone else. Understand what makes you tick, and realize if you need an emotional release, do so. Do not be embarrassed. I mean, I have been fortunate in that I've had good teachers. Unfortunately, it took me longer than it should have for me to correlate things. Perhaps if I had earlier, I'd still be married. But would I be happy? So, traveler, please be safe on your journey. Thank you so much for spending some of your time with me. And as you proceed on your way, remember, some of the best days of your life haven't happened yet.